It is already moving, already close, but you cannot see it. No light, no warning. Only gravity when it's too late. Space looks empty, silent, still, endless. But signals repeat, stars collapse, planets burn. Some things out there should not exist. This is space horrors, the universe that should not exist. Space looks empty because most of it does not shine. That is the first mistake. We trust light because light gives us shape. Stars show us where stars are. Galaxies show us where galaxies are. Gas clouds reveal themselves when they glow, scatter, or absorb. But not everything announces itself. Some objects cross the galaxy without fire, without reflection, without a surface bright enough to matter. A dead stellar core can move between stars. A planet can drift without a sun. A brown dwarf can cool until it is almost invisible. A collapsed object can carry mass through darkness without leaving a trail of light. From a distance, it looks like nothing is there. But gravity does not care if something is visible. Gravity still bends paths. It still pulls. It still changes the motion of anything close enough to feel it. That is what makes these objects different from ordinary darkness. They are not shadows. They are not gaps. They are not empty places between stars. They are mass moving quietly through the galaxy. And most of the time, the only reason we know they exist is because something else moves wrong. An invisible object is not detected by looking at it. It is detected by looking around it. A star bends slightly from its expected path. A background point of light brightens for no obvious reason. A companion star wobbles as if it is orbiting something that is not there. The object itself remains hidden, but the space around it does not behave normally. Gravity is not a beam. It reaches across empty distance and changes the geometry of motion. That is why astronomers watch the sky with patience, not for a monster crossing the image, not for a dark sphere drifting across the frame, but for a mistake in the pattern. A star brightens, then fades. A position shifts, then returns. A clean orbit develops a hidden center. These are gravitational confessions. The universe gives away the unseen object by showing what it does to everything else. This is how darkness becomes measurable. Because mass bends the rules nearby. And sometimes that bend is the only evidence we get. A black hole is not a hole in space. It is mass compressed so tightly that below its boundary, light cannot escape. If gas is falling in, the region around it can shine violently. X-rays, heat, a bright accretion disk. But an isolated black hole is different. No feeding disk, no companion star losing material, no visible flame wrapped around the danger, just gravity. Some black holes are born when massive stars collapse. The explosion can be uneven. The remnant can receive a kick. And over long timescales, that dead core can drift away from its birthplace until it lines up with something behind it, or passes close enough to disturb another body, or bends a beam of light that was never meant to reveal it. That is the fear built into the science. Not that space is full of visible monsters, but that some of the strongest objects in the galaxy can be almost silent when they are alone. They do not need to shine. They do not need to announce direction. They do not need to warn a system before passing through. A rogue black hole can be moving through darkness, and the darkness will look exactly the same. Microlensing begins with alignment, A distant star sits in the background. An unseen object moves between that star and Earth. For a short time, gravity bends the star's light. The hidden object becomes a lens. It may not glow, it may not reflect, it may not be visible in the telescope image at all. But the background star changes. It can brighten. It can appear slightly shifted. Its light can be warped by mass passing in front of it. This is not a photograph of the object. It is a measurement of what the object does to light. That is why microlensing is so powerful. It can reveal things that ordinary observation misses. Rogue planets, brown dwarfs, compact stellar remnants, and in rare cases, isolated black holes moving through the galaxy. The event may last days or months, sometimes longer. Then the alignment breaks. The star returns to normal. The sky looks ordinary again, and the object keeps moving. That is the unsettling part. The evidence can be temporary. The danger is not a permanent mark on the sky. It is a passing distortion. Not every hidden black hole drifts alone. Some are locked inside star systems, and they can still remain dark. If a black hole is not actively feeding, it may produce very little light, no bright disk, no obvious flare, no violent signal to mark its position, but a companion star can betray it. The star moves around a center that looks empty. Its path curves. Its speed changes. Its orbit points to mass the telescope cannot see. This is how a sleeping black hole can be found, not by its face, but by its grip. A star can act like a witness. It circles the unseen object again and again. The pattern becomes evidence. The hidden mass becomes measurable. The object does not need to eat. It does not need to flare. It does not need to tear anything apart to be real. Its gravity is more than enough to reveal it. A clean orbit may have a dark partner. A system that looks stable may contain something collapsed, dense, and silent. This changes the feeling of the sky. A bright star may not be alone. And if the motion is measured carefully enough, the invisible companion stops being a guess. It becomes the only explanation left. Black holes are not the only unseen travelers. Some planets move through the galaxy without a star. No sunrise, no seasons, no daylight to make them visible. They are called rogue planets. Some may have been thrown out of young systems. Some may have formed in isolation. Some may be cold enough that they barely release detectable heat. To a telescope searching for reflected light, they can be almost nothing. But they still have mass. They still move. They still bend light when alignment is right. Brown dwarfs occupy another border. Too massive to be ordinary planets. Not massive enough to shine like stable stars. They are failed stars in the popular language. But the phrase is too simple. They are dark bodies with real gravity, real heat, and real presence. They can exist between the categories we use to make space feel organized. That is part of the threat in this episode. Not every unseen object is extreme enough to be a black hole. Some are worlds. Some are half-stars. Some are cold, massive bodies crossing the dark. They may never hit anything. They may never come close. They may never matter to Earth at all. But they prove the point. The galaxy contains moving objects that light does not easily reveal, and gravity is often the first sign that they were there. The danger is not that every unseen object is close. The danger is that distance is difficult to judge when the object gives almost nothing away. Space is vast. Most objects will never come near us. Most will pass through regions so empty that nothing notices them. But detection depends on evidence. and evidence depends on interaction. A lensing event needs alignment. A wobbling star needs time. An orbital disturbance needs careful measurement. A passing object may only reveal itself when something else responds. That creates a strange kind of warning system. We do not always detect the object first. We detect the consequence. A star brightens suddenly and then fades back to dark. A position shifts slightly across the coordinate plane. A system moves wrong. The data begins to drift away. A pattern breaks. The rhythm of the stars is lost. Only then do we ask what crossed the line. This is different from tracking a comet with a visible tail. Different from seeing an asteroid reflecting sunlight. Different from observing a bright explosion across space. The unseen traveler may not give a clean image. It may only leave a temporary signature in the geometry of light and motion. So, astronomers do not only watch objects, they watch changes. They monitor millions of stars. They compare positions over years. They wait for tiny distortions that might last only as long as the alignment survives. The object keeps moving through the empty void of space. The sky returns to normal. The observation is complete, and the warning becomes a calculation after the fact. The solution is not one telescope. It is patience at scale. Astronomers need wide surveys, repeated measurements, precise positions, and instruments that can notice small changes across enormous fields of stars. That is where the next generation of sky surveys matters. They are not only looking for what shines, they are looking for what bends, what pulls, what shifts, the invisible signatures of the deep, what makes the background universe behave incorrectly. Each detection adds one more piece to a darker map of the galaxy, not a map of stars, a map of influence. And that map is still incomplete. There may be many unseen objects moving between the lights we know. Most are far away, drifting in the silent reaches of space. Most are harmless to us, but they change how we understand the sky. And the universe reveals them only when gravity makes the mistake visible. Some planets are hostile by design. Glass falls from the sky. Metal rains through burning atmospheres. Pressure crushes the surface itself. This is not weather. This is the environment. The universe does not need monsters. It has gravity, radiation, pressure, vacuum, and somewhere beyond what we can see, the next anomaly is already moving. This is space horrors, the universe that should not exist.